So what's up, everybody? This is going to be my Black Clover 342 predictions. I think this chapter is going to be straight into a flashback. 𝚲𝚘𝚅 might end up changing the scenery, but I'm pretty sure he's not gonna have us wait 2 weeks and then move it to somewhere else. For those who don't know, 𝚲𝚅 took the week off because of his daughter, and you know how he is with his fandom, his work. Every time he feels like he lets us down, or when he doesn't do his best, he feels bad about it. So he's gonna give us an epic chapter. So I don't expect the next chapter to go somewhere else. We're going to get that flashback with Ichiga's perspective as to how Yami left. But I still will talk about the possibilities of other places 𝚲𝚅 could go. So let's get into my Black Clover 342 predictions. First of all, if you like anime, manga reviews, discussion, spoilers, and theories, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, switch in with some false copyright strikes. So let's get this channel back to 5,000. Check out the Discord. So this chapter is going to be very interesting because it could go multiple ways. I do see it more going towards, like I said in the beginning of the video, into the backstory of Yami and how he left the land of the rising sun in the perspective of Ichiga. So it's going to paint Yami in a negative light, but probably down the line, we're going to see that Yami was most likely framed or most likely took the blame for his family or for whatever incident that happened in what led him to leave. Ichiga's perspective is not going to be the best. We have to wait until Yami actually explains the story. When Asa's around, hopefully Ichiga and Yami get to meet up at one point. However, I did say this in the last video that I made. I think a Oni most likely caused the harm and the death of Yami's family, which caused him to leave to another continent. However, if Ryuya knew Yami at a young age, and it seems like Ryuya has favorable memories towards Yami, and he didn't tell Asta, hey, Asta, your captain, the person that you look up to, is a wanted person in the land of the rising sun. I don't think whatever Ichiga is going to paint Yami in is the actual correct events that happen. I think she's just going to have the point of view of her seeing Yami, the person that she thought was a brother, become this monster. That's what I think is going to happen in this chapter. We're going to see her slowly but surely dislike Yami, and maybe she heard the rumors, maybe she wasn't aware. It's clear she wasn't at the scene as to when Yami supposedly, quote unquote, murdered his family, because she, in the start of the backstory, Yami says to Ichiga, keep close. It seems like she didn't really understand what was going on. Obviously, she was just like, hey, there's my big brother. So that backstory we're gonna get is gonna probably try to have us as a fandom change our opinion towards Yami. So we'll see how that happens, but I wouldn't be surprised if Yami's family has something to do with Onis. I said this in the other video as well, but they do have like dark magic, even though it's called something else in the land of the rising sun. I saw when you guys' comment saying that Yami didn't get magic until he went to the Clover Kingdom, and technically that's true because they call magic something different in the land of the rising sun, but the same aspect, Yami has an affinity with darkness. Also his sister as well, we saw it. So that darkness usually comes with playing in the dark, evil spirits. Onis are actually known to be somewhat malevolent. I wouldn't be surprised if Yami has some history with Onis. I tried to say this in another video, but I couldn't save it. I told you guys in the last spoiler video for chapter 341 that when Ichiga said that Yami's family died, I didn't have time to actually do this video. So I'm gonna throw some of the ideas that I did there into this video and say that maybe Yami might have actually ended up massacring his family. There's a possibility that he actually did. I don't think 𝚲𝚅 is gonna go that route in terms of the Itachi route, but maybe Yami was just a sick individual. So I wanted to say this. It looked like Yami probably got shunned by his family. Obviously, we know why now. He didn't want to go back to the land of rising sun after landing in the Clover Kingdom, but there's a possibility that Yami's family shunned him because maybe Yami and Ichiga's family have a close tie with Ryu, and maybe they're a family of samurais that have to protect the shogun. Their clan, their village believe that Ryu could be that shogun, but Yami decided like he didn't want to follow his family's footsteps and decided to do his own thing, and they didn't like that. Maybe Yami got forced into a corner and he had to basically fight or flight in that situation for him to live his life. I don't think that's the case, but in Japan, clans and families' names is very important. That's why when you always see a lot of mangas and animes, they always talk about the clans and the Hyuga clan like in Naruto and all that stuff. So clan and family name is very important. Yami not wanting to follow the footsteps of his family and follow Ryu, make him into a shogun, and Yami just wanted to do his own thing, could have made his family super mad, and they wanted to actually cause harm to Yami and say, you're a disgrace disgrace to our family and they just want to get rid of him, and he just decided to fight back. That's a possibility. I mean, of course, Yami isn't as strong as some of his family members because he was young, but there's a possibility that Yami got some help from an Oni to get the strength to defeat his family. There's a possibility there because we don't know how Yami was able to basically get out of the Tree of Cliff off ritual without harm, because remember, Gray tried to help Yami and heal him, but she said that Yami's heart turned to normal for some reason, even though it looked like he was turning into a devil. William Vengeance still had issues, but you saw Yami stand up and still fight. So that kind of shows that Yami's body might have some dabbles or some familiarity with devils. And I mean, we saw, like I said before, Yami do a dimensional slash that affected 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛, a devil. So he is arcane. I know that Yami is an arcane stage mage, but it could be he became arcane stage because he started to messing with forces that he wasn't supposed to, which was the Onis, and he used that powers from the Onis to basically massacre his family. That's a possibility. I don't think that's the case. I don't think 𝚤𝚘𝚅 will go that route because 𝚤𝚅 knows that Yami is one of our favorite characters. We're not going to accept Yami as a person that destroys his whole family unless they're completely corrupt and evil, but then that's going the Itachi route because the Uchihas, they wanted to do basically a revolution because they were mistreated. It made sense as to why the Uchihas wanted to do what they wanted to do, but we don't know anything of Yami's clan. We don't know what their clan is about. So if I could see that happening, but if 𝚤𝚅 writes it the Itachi route, I could see 𝚤𝚅 flip it and making his own. I hope it's not the same case where Yami actually killed his whole family because the government wanted him to do it. Like I said before, I think Yami's being framed, but there's a possibility that Yami got powers from the Onis to slaughter his family. However, this chapter, Black Clover 342, remember, it's going to focus on Yami being portrayed in a negative light. So Ichika might think that Yami possibly did not want to support his family or follow his family's will for him to be by the side of Ryu and support him to become the next shogun like Ichika did. He wanted to be his own person. He wanted to do his own thing. However, I don't think that's the case because then Ryu would have thought of Yami in a negative way when Asa first met Ryu. I think for sure that's not the case. I think literally it's because Yami got framed. However, the possibility of Yami being a mass murderer is still out there. Maybe he got possessed by Oni by accident. Maybe he went to a shrine. Maybe he went to a ritual and then the Oni stuck to him and possessed him. That's a possibility. And also another thing I want to talk about is this chapter not actually going to the backstory. Maybe we get an update to what's going on in the Clover Kingdom or with the other people in the cast like the Black Bulls, and then we get a couple of pages of them, and then we get into the backstory at the very end of the chapter. Like maybe the last 3 or 4 pages end up being the start of the backstory, but knowing 𝚤𝚅 and how he does things, I don't think he's gonna go that route. I mean, I still want us to know what is going on with the Black Bulls, how they're gonna end up finding Asta. Are they actually gonna end up in the Land of Rising Sun? Is Yami with them? How are the captains getting prepared? Are they just going to do a front attack on Lucius? What is Yuno gonna do? Does Yuno know where Lucius is at, or does he have an idea? Can somebody track Lucius? There's a lot of questions that we need to be answered soon, and I think the next couple of chapters we might get an update to them. It might not be this chapter, but I'm throwing it in there in case we do get to see what's going on, because I mean there's so many characters we haven't seen in a long time. It's been a whole year and a half time skip, but we haven't seen like Leo. What is he doing? He's basically became irrelevant. That's basically all I have to say about this chapter. I think this chapter is going to be a huge flashback, to be honest with you. I don't think we're going to get another scenery change, but I threw it in there for y'all in case it does happen. Let me know what you think is going to happen in Black Clover 342. Do you think we're going to get a flashback with Ichika's perspective at the very beginning of the chapter, or do you think that we're going to have a couple of chapters as an update as to what's going on, and then we're going to get into the backstory? Do you think we're going to get an update as to Lucius and where is his whereabouts? All right, like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.